In this episode of Toysbackzen, we're going to do part 2 of my Micronauts unboxing, and this is a review of Hornetroid with the box. Let's take a look. Now this box has seen better days, but actually I'm going to try to restore this. There's not much that we really have to do to it. It just needs to be flattened out. There is a few creases, but I think it'll look really nice. Let's take a look at this. This is a Canadian version because you can see that there is some French on it. This is the Micronauts Hornetroid, the fearsome Mariopod from the far-off galaxy of Thoraxid. Also, I wanted to thank Retro Robot Radio. He commented in my part 1 video that the Hornetroid, which they say here is a Mariopod, Mariopod is not what a hornet is. In the Mego concept art, it showed that they were calling this a dragonfly, not a hornet, which he thought it was funny, and I think it's hilarious too. Also, this concept art was a Mego design. It wasn't a design that was carried over from the Microman line from Japan. So, Mariopod is this.
Mariopod.
And from what I can tell, a hornet or a dragonfly is not in the category of a Mariopod. A Mariopod is more like a millipede or a centipede style insect. So it sounds to me like they were just using interesting words to describe what this toy was. And in reality, it made no sense whatsoever. I like the picture on the box. It shows on the right-hand side in this small box here, in this small square, it shows how it looks as the actual toy instead of the artwork. This is a painting render of the figure. And because these toys can be taken apart and reconfigured, here on the left you can see a picture of the Hornetroid put together in a different way. And here in the bottom left it says figures not included, but that's okay. I have a figure right here. He is a time traveler, but I call him Dave. So he's my figure. He's my only Micronauts figure that I have, and he's going to be the driver of the Hornetroid today. It says the interchangeable world of Micronauts up on the left corner, and over on the right corner it says recommended for children over 6 years old. Folding landing gear, flapping wing action. Cockpit with seat for a Micronaut, needs no batteries. And right here in the right bottom corner, it says Grand Toys, Montreal, Canada, Mego Corporation. And there's their logos there. It also says over here, it says minor variances may occur in actual product from items depicted. And that's interesting that it says that, because the actual toy, this part of the actual toy does not look like that. And I'll show you the difference when we take a look at the actual physical toy. You can see on the side, the fearsome Mariopod from the far-off galaxy of Thoraxid, Montreal, Canada. And then this is cool. It has price tag on it. Eaton's, $15.99. So that's cool. Manufactured by Mego Corporation, New York, New York. This is French. Nothing on the bottom. It's just a regular box. If we open it up, it's just that. I have the toy out of the box because it is put together. Thought it would save some time. At the end of looking at the toy, I'm going to try to flatten this box out and see if we can make it look a little bit more presentable. So this vehicle is pretty massive. I put Dave here in front of the toy just for scale. These figures are 3 3/4 size with an O-ring, really similar to G.I. Joe. If you look at, I've got a G.I. Joe here. You can see they are almost exactly the same height. And if you're like me, that's important because when you have limited space for your collection, space is a premium. So you need to know, if I'm going to collect these, am I going to have the space to display it? An example of that is Starcom. I decided early on that I wasn't going to collect Starcom because to me, every time I saw the pictures, I thought they were large vehicles like G.I. Joe or Mask. And actually, they're so small that now I've started collecting them because I actually have the room to do it. So at first glance, this toy seems to be pretty complete, but it is missing quite a few things. Luckily, there's no tabs that are broken, no posts that are broken, and everything seems to be working pretty good on it. But what is missing, there's a little missile that goes in here. There's a chrome missile launcher that holds 2 missiles that goes here. So I don't have that or the missiles. And there's also a back laser gun in red, which goes here. But this is a really good looking piece. I feel like all of the most important parts of this vehicle is here. And let's explore those parts. So we have a wing. A lot of times I see these broken at the tabs. And then we have 2 wings here that come off like that. You could put this here. It plugs into there where the missile launcher could be. You could plug it into here. You could plug it into here where it was. It looks the best. I like it like that, actually. All 4 wings do move. You got 2 long wings and 2 short wings. They do move independently of each other. So you can move them all the way back, and you can move them all the way forward like that. I'm going to configure them like this. Same thing on the other side. Now we do have our button here. This is give it the flying action, which is really cool. The legs do fold up. These act as landing gear. So we have 3 wheels here. These plug in. So if you're looking to complete this, we have a wheel and then this part of the wheel, which plugs in like that into the foot. So we have 3 on each back leg, and we also have 1 here. It doesn't have the wheel, it just has the 2 cones, which fits into the front landing gear. So we have 8 cones and 3 wheels that fits into the cones like this. Also, the front landing gear, you can move it up and move it back, and it stays in place. These don't stay in place too well. I don't know if they're supposed to be like that. If they're supposed to move like when you're flying it around. Or I don't see anything that tabs it in, so they might be a little loose here, but I think they just do that naturally. Here on the front, we can see the cockpit. And there's a hole here on the cockpit. What it actually is for, another thing that I'm missing, if we look on the box, we can see it's missing the antennas. Can open up the cockpit. Put Dave in the cockpit like this. Now he can put his hand on here, but that's possibly why he's got a broken thumb there. So the right hand, I'm not going to put it on the joystick. We're just going to leave it like that. We can close that up. The head does come unplugged from the body, like that. These do articulate, and this does come out. You can take him away to be eaten by the insects. But you can take the tail off too. It plugs in the same way as the head plugs in. On the box, it shows that you can make this out of it, but it doesn't look like a very practical toy, I guess. It doesn't even have any wings or anything, so I guess you could do that, but it's got no landing gear. I don't know why you'd want to play with it like that, but it does show that. Interesting thing is, if you look on the box, the top of the box where that little missile goes in right here is black, and this is clearly orange. Also, if you look on the box, on the right-hand side, it shows the original color of the back wing and the laser cannon on the back that goes on the tail. But on the other side, the laser and the back wing is black. So if anybody can tell me why that is, if there are different variants of this toy. I've only seen it with the orange, but if there are American or European versions of this toy that do have the black parts, please let me know. So there's the Hornetroid. Let's focus our attention on the box. Let's see if we can flatten this thing out and make it a little bit more presentable for display. So over the lifetime of this box, it's received a lot of damage. So first thing we had to do is take these staples out. At first I thought that these staples were rusted, but really they are just tarnished copper, I believe, which is kind of interesting. So I'm going to be using a combination of pliers and a screwdriver and pull these out. Bottom part of the box is not that bad, but just the right hand side I'm going to take apart, and we'll take the two staples out on the right hand side. I've done that already here, and we'll be able to iron that out. First I'm going to put a sheet down. We'll flatten that out. Put our flattened box down. And I'm not going to iron it on the top. I'm going to turn it around and iron it on the part that doesn't have the artwork. I'm going to put the setting of the iron on the lowest steam setting, and I'm also going to add some parchment paper to the top of this to protect it. think we can get it better, so I'm going to just have a damp paper towel here. I don't want to put too much water on the box because I don't want to damage the other side. Let's see what happens here. The box is getting really hot, but it's not doing what I expected it to do, so I'm going to go to the next setting in the steam and see if we can get it a little bit flatter. That's much better. It's getting really hot, but I think we can make it better. Let's take the parchment paper off and just add the steam right to it. We don't want to put too much heat to it, so we're going to keep moving our iron. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to put a couple books on it and let it sit overnight and see if we can make it as flat as possible. Here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the iron directly to the box and iron that out with the steam on the second setting. See here, the box is all back together, and that worked out really well. The bottom part of the box, I think, is pretty good. It's pretty flat, looks pretty good. I'm going to put it back together. All right, so last thing we have to do is take this black Sharpie. I'm just going to go around the box, clean up some of the crease marks that we have, the white crease marks. I'm only going to be touching up the black because doing the colors would probably make it not look as nice. So let's see what happens when I'm done. And here's the box flattened out for the most part. And I actually expected it to be a little bit better than this, tell you the truth. But it's way better than it was, I'll tell you that. So it looks better with all the black, flattening it out with the iron. I find that the iron worked really well. Without the parchment paper, I was afraid of scorching or maybe burning the box with the iron, and I was also worried about melting the ink or whatever's on the top of the box with the artwork, and I didn't want to melt it or ruin it from water. So I think it turned out really well, and I really like this toy. It's pretty cool. This is my part 2 of my Mego Micronauts toys that I got. This is a 4-part series, so if you haven't checked out part 1, please check that out and keep your eyes open for part 3 and part 4 coming soon. So thanks for watching. I'm Toysbackzen. If you like what you see here, consider subscribing, hit the thumbs up, and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of this toy or even this toy line. And if you have any tips on fixing boxes a little bit better than what I've done, please let me know. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I answer all of my comments down below too, so please leave a comment and you'll sure to get an answer from me. Thanks for watching. This was really fun. See you later.